Reality is shaped by consciousness. What if the world you perceive is nothing more than a reflection of your own internal alchemy? The ancients whispered this truth in temples long forgotten, inscribed on scrolls considered too dangerous to survive the fire of empires. Reality, as we've been taught to accept it, is not a solid structure. It's a mirage shaped by perception, a living organism that bends to the intentions of consciousness. The sages of old, from the mystics of Tibet to the scribes of the Hermetic schools, spoke of the mind as the first architect. Before there was form, there was awareness, and within that awareness danced the infinite potential of creation. You are not merely walking through reality, you are dreaming it into being. Modern science, veiled in the language of particles and probabilities, has begun to uncover these same truths. The infamous double-slit experiment, for example, shattered the notion of an objective world. Electrons, those elusive messengers of matter, refused to behave like solid particles when unobserved. But the moment they were watched, their paths collapsed into predictable lines. The observer then was not separate from the observed. This is not metaphor, it is cosmic law. Even Schrödinger's cat, trapped in a paradox of life and death, shows us the strange intimacy between attention and actuality. Ancient texts, once banned by imperial decree, hinted at this, warning that those who learned to focus the mind could influence the unfolding of time itself. But this power has been hidden behind veils, scattered in fragments across the globe. Shamans spoke of it when they told stories of dreamwalkers, those who could step between realities. Alchemists guarded it, encoding it into symbols and metaphors to keep it from the uninitiated. And yet the key has always been available to the seeker who dares to question the illusion. The energy that binds atoms is the same force that responds to belief, emotion, and thought. You don't live in the world lives within your awareness. This is not poetic abstraction. It is Sabadoria ancestral, carried through generations, by those who knew that perception is the gateway to transformation. Your attention is the chisel that sculpts the quantum clay. Every moment, every glance, every belief you carry silently shapes the field around you. Reality responds not just to your words, but to your frequency. And that frequency is a song composed by your emotions, memories, and inner alignment. The ancient practice of alchimia interior wasn't about turning lead into gold. It was about transmuting fragmented perception into divine clarity. When you shift your awareness, you shift the timeline, and as you do, you activate patterns long hidden, truths encoded within the very structure of your being. The map was never out there, it was always written in the resonance of your soul. And yet if this knowledge is so powerful, why have we been taught to ignore it? Because power without wisdom is chaos. The guardians of textos prohibidos knew that only those prepared through discipline and humility could wield such force responsibly. But now, as the veil thins and the energy cosmica intensifies, more are awakening to this forgotten potential. The illusion of separation begins to crack, and light pours in through those fissures. Still, the question remains, if your mind is shaping reality at every instant, what shapes your thoughts? What hidden forces guide your internal compass? The answer lies deeper, within the currents of energy that move through every idea you've ever had, every feeling you've ever buried, and every dream you've ever abandoned. And that leads us to a far more profound realization. Thoughts are energy waves. Imagine for a moment that every thought you've ever had is still echoing through the unseen layers of existence. Not as memory, but as frequency. The sages who once walked beneath the obsidian skies of Babylon believed thoughts were not bound to the mind. They were currents of living energy, flowing through dimensions uncharted by the physical eye. And now, with the rise of quantum exploration, their forbidden wisdom resurfaces. Science, hesitantly and humbly, is confirming what mystics have long proclaimed. Thoughts are not invisible whispers, they are electric commands, encoded with intention, capable of shaping the matrix of reality. What you think is not passive, it is creation in motion, pure energia cosmica, vibrating through the web of existence. Your brain, as complex as it seems, is but a vessel, a translator between realms. It operates like a quantum processor, firing signals that ripple beyond the skull, beyond the skin, into the ether itself. Ancient scrolls from lost Atlantean traditions spoke of the mind fire, an inner force that radiated beyond the body and altered the energy fields of others. This concept, once cast aside as mysticism, is now echoed in measurable data. Electromagnetic fields generated by thoughts are real and detectable. They affect plants, animals, water, and even machines. But the most profound truth remains hidden in plain sight. Your beliefs emit codes into the fabric of the world, codes that either imprison or liberate, depending on their frequency. Emotions are not merely reactions, they are amplifiers. A single thought bathed in fear contracts your field, but a thought immersed in gratitude expands it infinitely. This is the lost art of alchemia interior, to manipulate not with hands, but with focus, to transmute lower vibrations into higher ones, to become the silent architect of your destiny. By mastering the frequencies you emit, many sacred civilizations warned us of this truth. The Druids carved it into stone circles, aligning energy with intention. The Egyptian priests encoded it within hieroglyphs, linking heart and mind as one sacred current. These weren't just rituals, they were technologies of the soul. As your thoughts oscillate in this ocean of possibilities, they create ripples that echo far beyond what your senses can perceive. And yet this ancient force has been trivialized. Distracted by noise, hijacked by narratives, most live unaware that their thoughts are scripting reality in real time. The keepers of Mysterios Occultos understood that mastering thought is not about control, but about coherence. A chaotic mind emits static resistance. A harmonized mind becomes a beacon, attracting synchronicities that defy logic and reason. This is the power behind manifestation, a dance between the invisible and the incarnate, between what is felt and what becomes form. But here lies the great paradox. If your thoughts shape reality, what shapes your thoughts? What energies feed the seeds of belief within you? What ancient influences whisper beneath the surface of your mind? The answers lie not in logic, but in the sacred geometry of feeling, in the echoes of Sabadoria ancestral still pulsating through your bloodline. If thoughts are energy, then focus is ritual. Attention becomes invocation. And with every moment, you're casting energetic spells, whether you realize it or not. To truly wield this force, one must descend into the heart, where reason ends and resonance begins. The heart is the key to manifestation. Beneath the rhythm of your breath, there is a silent pulse, ancient, resonant, and cosmic. It is the heartbeat, not only of your body, but of your spiritual architecture. While the mind projects thoughts like beams of light, the heart broadcasts frequencies like a sun. Ancient mystics, long before modern science dared to measure electromagnetic fields, spoke of the heart as the throne of the soul, the inner temple where divine will and human desire converge. Today, we know what they knew in secret. The electromagnetic field of the heart is thousands of times stronger than that of the brain. But the esoteric truth is deeper. It is not just stronger, it is wiser. The heart is a bridge, a portal to realms unspoken, and the anchor of the alchemia interior. It decodes the unseen, tunes the body to higher frequencies, and serves as the command center for manifestation. Textos prohibidos, once hidden in monasteries and guarded by secret orders, reveal that civilizations such as the Maya, the Egyptians, and even early Taoists regarded the heart not as a mere organ, but as an oracle. When one enters a state of heart-brain coherence, the energy field expands and intention aligns with creation. Gratitude, love, courage, these are not just feelings. They are frequencies, keys to the lockbox of reality. Consider this: when you feel joy without reason, when you awaken with a sense of awe, your entire energetic system lights up. You begin to emit a resonance that calls forth people, situations, and synchronicities that mirror your internal state. The mystics referred to this as magnetic alignment, a phase where your energia cosmica synchronizes with the rhythms of the universe. This is no longer abstract spirituality, it is field science. Your vibration becomes a compass, guiding you toward timelines previously unreachable. In this state, manifestation is not effort, it is flow. It is remembering how to speak the original language of creation, frequency. But there's a reason why the heart's power has been suppressed. In a world built to favor logic, strategy, and mental overdrive, the wisdom of the heart has been dismissed as weakness. This is no coincidence, it is design. The keepers of Misterios Occultos knew that as long as the masses were disconnected from their hearts, their manifestations would remain chaotic and weak. Fear shrinks the field. Doubt disrupts coherence, but a heart ignited with illumination becomes unstoppable. It becomes a tuning fork for higher realities. It is through the heart that Sabadoria Ancestral whispers its clearest truths, not as words, but as knowing. So the question is no longer whether your heart matters, it's whether you are listening to it. In every sacred culture, from the fire rituals of the Andes to the breathwork of the Himalayas, the path to manifestation began with emotional alignment. And yet, few are taught to feel consciously. Fewer still are taught to trust what they feel. But once you remember this, once you open the inner gate, something profound occurs. The veil between thought and reality thins, and you begin to live not by default, but by design. What happens when the heart becomes the captain of your journey? That mystery unravels further in the practices that channel this power. Daily energy control practices. Mastering energy is not reserved for monks in silent temples or sages lost in mountain caves. It is a path available to every soul who chooses to awaken, beginning not with grand rituals, but with conscious, daily practices. In truth, energy is shaped more by constancy than intensity. The shamans of the old world knew this and taught that small, sacred acts repeated each day could open doorways to power. Breathing, posture, light, and thought. These are the tools of the modern alchemist. The way you rise in the morning, the way you breathe when no one is watching, the food you place into your body. Each action either harmonizes or fractures your energetic field. In ancient scrolls long hidden by religious institutions, the breath was described as the rope that connects the physical and the spiritual. Deep, rhythmic breathing calms the nervous system, balances the hemispheres of the brain, and activates the heart field. But beyond biology, it reclaims the present moment. Mystics knew that where breath flows, energy follows. Visualization is another sacred art, practiced in silence by prophets and seers. When you hold an image in your mind and imbue it with emotion, you do not just imagine, you invoke. The mind becomes the canvas, the feeling becomes the brush. And together, they rewrite the world around you. Hydration, sunlight, and movement may seem mundane, yet they are conduits of energia cosmica. Water is not inert. It is a carrier of memory and frequency. In rituals of the Andes, water was prayed over before consumption, transforming it into liquid intention. Sunlight is not just warmth, it is a carrier of codes, activating dormant strands within your cellular structure. Your posture, often overlooked, dictates the flow of energy through the meridians of your body. Those who walk hunched in shame emit contraction. Those who rise with confidence project expansion. These practices are not spiritual cliches, they are blueprints of energetic architecture. The guardians of textos prohibidos knew the power of rhythm and repetition. That is why ancient temples echoed with chants, mantras, and ritual gestures performed at dawn and dusk. These were not acts of worship. They were technologies of alignment. When you meditate daily, even for a few minutes, you realign your electromagnetic field. You silence static, you recalibrate, you begin to remember who you are beneath the noise. And from that stillness, your energy becomes a magnet for clarity, healing, and manifestation. This is the lost science of the soul, the forgotten art of alchemia interior, practiced not through effort, but through resonance. Yet one must ask, what lies beyond these daily rituals? If energy can be sensed, shaped, and stored, can it be shared? Can it be entangled across space and time? The answer, once dismissed as fantasy, emerges now through the corridors of quantum physics and Sabadoria Ancestral. You are not just managing energy, you are preparing to step into a greater mystery, one that connects all minds, all hearts, in a field of infinite potential. And to truly harness this power, we must go beyond practice and into the architecture of reality itself. Quantum physics to daily life. The moment we stop viewing quantum physics as an abstract theory and begin living it as a spiritual reality, the veil lifts. The cosmos is not distant. It is entangled with your breath, your emotions, and your decisions. The ancients may not have had the terminology of superposition or quantum entanglement, but they lived in direct harmony with those principles. In their temples of stone and fire, they taught that everything is connected and that time is not a line but a loop, folding into itself like sacred geometry. To live quantumly is to recognize that your attention selects which version of reality becomes real. You are not a spectator. You are the selector. Consider superposition, the idea that all outcomes exist simultaneously until you focus. This aligns with esoteric teachings that say every possible future is already written in the Akashic field, a vast, invisible archive of cosmic memory. What you visualize, you activate. What you fear, you feed. Each choice is not simply a decision, it is a quantum act, collapsing infinite possibilities into form. In this way, your life is not linear, it is layered. With each new thought or feeling, you shift from one reality to another. The mystics of Persia called this walking between worlds, a subtle art passed through generations in coded poetry and forbidden manuscripts. Entanglement, too, mirrors the bonds of the soul. When two particles connect, no matter how far apart they are placed, they respond to one another instantly. This is not science fiction. It is Sabadoria Ancestral rediscovered. It explains why you feel the emotions of a loved one across oceans, or sense danger before it arrives. Relationships are not merely emotional. They are energetic contracts, bound by invisible threads. When your energy changes, the web around you reshapes itself. That is why healing yourself often heals others without a word being spoken. This is the unseen magic that binds us, the sacred science once hidden in textos prohibidos. Then there is the quantum Zeno effect, an idea both baffling and revealing, that reality freezes under observation. The longer you maintain focus, the longer something stays in place. Apply this to your desires. If you keep returning to your vision, anchoring it with emotion and belief, it begins to stabilize in your timeline. This is not superstition, it is the spiritual application of quantum law. Monks in remote monasteries intuitively practice this by meditating on a single symbol or word for days. They weren't praying, they were programming the field. You can do the same. Your reality is waiting for instruction. But here lies the deeper mystery. If quantum laws govern reality and your consciousness shapes them, what happens when a collective begins to awaken? What if millions synchronize their focus, elevate their vibration, and reclaim their alignment? That is when the matrix trembles. That is when timelines shift. And this is the crossroads we now face. From mysterious occultos to the energetic pulse of modern awakening, the call is the same. Remember your power, reclaim your resonance, and begin to walk not as one who reacts, but as one who creates. For this is not the end of the mystery. It is merely the beginning of illumination. What if everything you've been taught about reality was a lie designed to keep you asleep? What if your thoughts were not mere mental noise, but invisible commands shaping the fabric of existence around you? And what if the force you've always searched for, out there in the stars, in temples, in ancient scrolls, was actually pulsing within you this whole time? Today, you're not just watching another video, you're being invited into a hidden dimension, one that operates beneath logic and beyond belief. This is not self-help. This is forbidden knowledge, woven from Sabiduría ancestral, energized by Misterios Ocultos, and ignited by the same Energia Cosmica that created galaxies. You are about to uncover the ancient science of energy manipulation, how to bend reality, not with force, but with resonance, how to access the alquimia interior that was locked away in textos prohibidos, and how to reprogram your consciousness to become the architect of your life. But a word of warning, once you see this truth, you cannot unsee it. Once you activate this power, you will never again walk through life blindly. Are you ready to shift timelines, awaken dormant forces, and step into your illumination as spiritual? Then breathe deeply and let the revelations begin. If you're ready for this transformation, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment below. The more we awaken together, the faster the veil dissolves. Now that you've glimpsed the invisible architecture behind your reality, the question is no longer, is this real? But what will you do with this power? The energy you carry is not random. It's a signal, a language, a blueprint waiting to be expressed. And the truth is, you were never meant to live asleep. You were designed to shape, to channel, to create with intention and clarity. So I leave you with this reflection. If your thoughts, your emotions, and your focus can shape reality itself, what kind of world will you dare to create next? The universe is listening, the field is responding, and your journey has only just begun. Share your insights in the comments. What resonated most with you in this revelation? Don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell so you never miss another drop of hidden wisdom. And if you're ready to go even deeper, watch the next video I've chosen for you. It may hold the missing key you've been searching for.